Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from jennycarddesigns. Thanks so much for joining me today. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. In today's video, I have a fun Chop It Up inspired project for you today, showing you another way that you can cut up your 12 by 12 paper pads to create handmade card projects. So, like any usual day, I was shopping at Michael's minding my own business, and I came across some brand new spring paper pads. And these florals are just absolutely stunning. I love them so much. I'm just going to do a flip through for you to show you these beautiful watercolor florals. I love the way this looks and the butterflies and the gold accents in this book. And what I also like about it are the pastel, the solid color paper as well. It makes your paper packs more versatile and gives you more options. Okay, so once I flipped through this paper pad, I've decided to go with this piece of paper. I love the sort of blue sky and floral arrangement on the bottom. And I'm going to make a project for you. So first up, I'm going to grab this 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I want to use this floral arrangement. And when I cut my cardstock, I want to cut it at 6 inches, but I want to make sure that all the pattern that I want is on the left side. So I'm going to create a little pocket out of this piece of cardstock, and I want this floral pattern to be upright. Okay, so I'm going to cut that at 6 inches, and then I'm going to cut this across the 12-inch side. I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. So this little 3-inch scrap, that's going to be for our card. And then we have a piece that measures 6 by 9 inches, and that's going to be for our little card pocket. You can make 2 of this project out of 1 piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. So the leftover piece, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm not going to make a second one today. I'm just going to make one, and I'll save this scrap in my scrap pile for another project. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my scoreboard, and across the 9-inch side, I'm going to score at 4 1/4 inches. I'm paying attention to the orientation of my page because I want the floral arrangement to be upright like this. So our first score is going to be at 4 1/4, the second score at 8 1/2, and then I'm going to rotate my cardstock 1 turn to the left because I want my flower arrangement to be upright, so I want to turn to the left. And then I'm going to score at 5 1/2 inches. Okay, and then we're going to be all done with the scoring here. So the next step that we're going to do is make some cuts into this piece of paper. Now I'm going to work on the back side because I think you can see the score marks a little bit better. So I have the 1/2 inch little score on the left side, and on the right side here I have this little thin rectangle strip on the bottom. I'm going to cut this off. So I'm going to follow along that score mark, and then I'm going to stop and cut that piece off, okay? And then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to cut off this entire corner, okay? Just like this. So at this point, you should have a little piece that looks like this. And then we're going to just trim the other corners here. I'm just going to make a little angle cut and slice that away. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this last top corner here. You'll see all of this come together in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to crease my folds now. I'm going to fold over those little strips, and I'm going to crease using my bone folder, giving it a nice sharp crease, and just making sure that everything lines up together and help train my paper to the shape that I want it to be. Okay, so there are 2 options to adhere these little flaps down. You can adhere it on the outside, which is what I chose to do, or you can adhere it to the inside. And if you have a little bubble in your paper, you can just kind of hold it in place, use your bone folder to retrain that paper the way you want it to go. And so you can fold it on the inside, but the thing I find about that is that sometimes my little card catches on those little pieces on the inside. So just to avoid that, I'm going to skip it completely, and I'm going to adhere those little strips to the outside. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some dot liner here. This is my favorite dot liner. I use this in every video. It is the absolute best value for your money. You'll find it linked in the description box down below. The amount of tape runner inside of this dot liner is like 5 tape rolls in one. It's the biggest bang for your buck. Okay, so I'm going to use my bone folder to press that adhesive in, and then this little pocket is almost done. I'm going to grab a circle punch. I want to create like a little notch to slide the card in and out. I think it just gives it this extra special touch. So I've got this little circle punch, and I'm just going to line it up on the center of the top of my little envelope here and make sure that it's centered, and just taking off a little tiny piece there, just enough to give it that little finger notch shape. All right, so we're done with this little envelope for now. I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to go work on the card that's going to go inside of this envelope. So I have a piece of cardstock here. This is just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now, this piece of cardstock is just the exact size of our little pocket. So what I want to do is just trim down a little sliver off. It's almost maybe about 1/8 of an inch I'm trimming. I'm not really measuring. I'm just trimming off a sliver off of one side, turning it around, trimming off a sliver off of another. And then this should help our little card slide perfectly in and out of our envelope. I just want to show you how much I'm actually trimming off. Just a little bit. It's not too much, but it's going to give us the perfect size that we need to fit inside of our little pocket. All right, let's move over to that scrap piece of paper. Now, I just wasn't sure if I wanted to cut off the bumblebee or if I wanted to cut off the roses. And I thought, okay, let's cut off the bumblebee. I really struggled with this. I wanted to put the whole thing on, but I didn't like the way it looked. And I really wanted this white margin around this piece of card. I think that just helps it really pop off the page. So I'm happy with my choice. And I'm going to adhere this down to my card base. But first I'm going to grab a little bit of ribbon. I want to create a little pull to be able to pull this card in and out of the little pocket. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of ribbon. I'm not doing anything extra fancy here. I'm just cutting off a piece of ribbon. I'm going to fold it in half and just sort of stagger the ribbon just a little bit because I don't want it to sit exactly on top of each other. I want it to be just spread just a little bit, but also enough where it's going to kind of stay together and create a loop, if that makes sense. So I'm just kind of testing it where I want it to go. I'm going to grab some of my double-sided adhesive. I'll put a little bit on the back of my cardstock, and then I'll cover my little floral panel, and I'll start with the ribbon. I'll use the adhesive that's on the card to just pop on my little ribbon, and I'll kind of put it in the center, eyeballing where I want it to go. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to take my pattern paper and I'm going to sandwich that ribbon in between the pattern paper and the back piece of cardstock. And look at this. This has to be the easiest project that I've ever made, but the results are absolutely beautiful. It's such a pretty card. And I love that little finger loop there. So I've got this jennycarddesigns stamp set, and I've shared this in a couple of videos. This is the Flowing Florals stamp set, and it has a bunch of thin greetings, and what I've done is stamped and heat embossed a whole bunch of them ahead of time, and I keep them in the back of the stamp set in this little pocket, and when I want to create a card and I want something quick, I can just pull out a sentiment. And so I grabbed this and I thought, this is just perfect. That bold black and white embossing popping off of there was just a perfect touch to this card. I really think this is just gorgeous. And then we're going to slide our little card into our pocket, and voila, our project is complete. Super simple. This little card slides in and out. You can write your personal message on the back of this card. And look how cute this is. It's very elegant and pretty, and we didn't work really hard to get this result. And then I just want to show you that this also will fit inside of an A2 size envelope. If you chose to mail this away, it will fit inside this envelope perfectly. That is it for today's video. Here's a close-up look at our finished card project. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of Chop It Up. Chop It Up is a series that I have on my YouTube channel that has many ideas to chopping up pattern paper and 12 by 12 cardstocks and just kind of shopping in your stash and using what you have. Coming up on screen are a couple of videos I think you may enjoy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I appreciate the support as always. If you like the content that you've seen here today, don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!